if you're looking for day 11, you came to the right place. All right, let's get started. Capitalization section. Capitalize names of geographic places. For example, they used Berlin, so the B in Berlin is capitalized. Capitalize names of man-made travelways and structures. For example, Briar Avenue or the Empire State Building. So your sample sentence is, the city of Timbuktu is in Mali, which is near the Niger River in Africa. Based on what you just learned, well, actually backing up, you know the first word of a sentence is always capitalized, so the T in the is capitalized. And then we have the city of Timbuktu, that's a geographical place, capitalized. Mali, capitalize the M, which is near the Niger River. The N and the R in river would be capitalized. In Africa, the A in Africa is capitalized. Okay, so the Timbuktu, Mali, Niger River, Africa. All right, remember, use your colored pen so that I can see the answer that you gave me easily. Next, we have punctuation. In punctuation, we're introducing the semicolon. All right, if you think of a semicolon, just think of something that can't make up its mind. All right, it's got the period on top and the comma underneath. So the person who is writing is like, well, should it be a period? Should it be a comma? I'm just going to use both. It separates two complete, closely related thoughts. Their example, Mindy's mother rides a motorcycle, semicolon, her dad drives a dune buggy. They sound like a pretty fun set of parents. They're driving motorcycles and dune buggies. But you can see where they did the semicolon. Okay, now look at your example sentence. Marco won't be attending the party. He will be wrapping gifts for charity, Emma. They're reviewing something that you learned yesterday, day 10. So if you didn't do the day 10 worksheet, you might be confused. Emma is a noun of direct address. So someone is speaking directly to Emma. And if you did the previous video, you'll know that there's going to be a comma there. If you didn't, I'll explain it as we continue. All right, so you have two separate thoughts. Marco won't be attending the party. He will be wrapping gifts for charity, Emma. Apparently, Emma is a real slacker. She's not wrapping gifts for charity. Marco is. So how that's going to look is Marco won't be attending the party, semicolon. That's the end of one thought. He will be wrapping gifts for charity, Emma. And because you're speaking directly to Emma, you would put a comma before Emma, and then, of course, the period at the end. Marco won't be attending the party, semicolon. He will be wrapping gifts for charity, comma, Emma, period. Very good. Okay, next section. Okay, they're giving you a lot of information. Hopefully, most of it is review. If not, go over it until you get it. Remember, the subject of a sentence tells who or what the sentence is about. The verb tells what is, was, or will be, or what happens, happened, or will happen. The verb may consist of one word or a phrase. By deleting all prepositional phrases, you can find a subject and verb more easily. Some of you would have learned this technique probably, in the past. Some of you, this may be new. So if you can't remember what a prepositional phrase is, you learned about that back on day 5, and they've been doing some review. And then if you remember, I gave you this handout. Okay, so if you're still a little rusty on your prepositions, keep your list of prepositions handy, and that will make the crossing out of prepositional phrases in the future much easier. So if you look at the example, after hiking for several hours, we rested under some pine trees. If you're trying to figure out what the subject and verb is in that sentence, if you cross out the prepositional phrases, it becomes very obvious. The only two words that are not tied in to prepositional phrases are we and rested. We is the subject because it's telling us who or what the sentence is about, and rested is the verb because it's telling us what they're doing. We rested. Then don't miss this. They have a very important part, kind of just stuck in here. If you've got your highlighter, grab the highlighter pen. A direct object occurs after a verb and receives the action of a verb. The example is, Lori ate popcorn. Lori ate what? Lori ate popcorn. Popcorn is receiving the action of the verb. The popcorn is being eaten by Lori. All right? Lori ate popcorn. The direct object is popcorn. So now they're going to give you a sentence that puts all that into action. Please read the directions carefully. Delete the prepositional phrase. That means cross it out. Underline the subject once and the verb twice. Label the direct object D-O. Pay attention to what you're supposed to be doing. After the theater performance, several people hailed a cab. The first thing you're going to do is cross out the prepositional phrase. If you're not sure, go to your list of common prepositions and you'll see on there, after is a common preposition, so the prepositional phrase would be after the theater performance. I'm going to cross that out. Are there any other prepositional phrases? Do you see any other prepositions? No. So now you're left to choose from several people hailed a cab to figure out what the subject is. The subject is people. Several would be an adjective, don't have to label that, describing people. But the subject is people. Who is the sentence about? People. And what are the people doing? They're hailing. They're hailing a cab. People hailed. People hailed what? A cab. So cab is the direct object. It receives the action of the verb and it occurs after the verb. Okay? So this is what it should look like. People is underlined once because it's the subject. Hailed is underlined twice because it's the verb. People hailed what? A cab. Cab is the direct object. Under the phrases and clauses section, a clause contains a subject and a verb. An independent clause can stand alone as a sentence. For example, Fran and her friends meet to play games once a month. A dependent clause cannot stand alone as a complete thought or a complete sentence. For example, when their dog whines. When their dog whines what? When their dog whines, it gets a treat. That would be a complete sentence. When their dog whines, it gets sent to the kennel. That would be a complete sentence. But just when the dog whines all by itself, it's not a complete thought. So let's take a look at the examples. The dance floor has been sanded. Is that a complete thought? Well, we have a dance floor and we have that it's been sanded. That's a complete thought. That's an I-C. B, when the dance floor was sanded, what happened? When the dance floor was sanded, what? Okay? That's not an independent thought. It needs more information to make sense. That's a DC. So you'd label it DC. C, before I leave at noon. Before I leave at noon, what? Okay? That's not a complete thought. That would be a DC, or a dependent clause. The last example is, I am leaving at noon. That's an independent thought. Stands all by itself and makes perfect sense. The last section, sentence combining. You guys have 3 sentences to combine into one. I know you'll do a great job and I look forward to reading it. Thank you. God bless you.